What's up guys, it's your boy ENDYMION here with another theory video on Mass Effect. This time I want to talk about the galaxy tyrants that plague the Andromeda cluster, the Kett. And I would like to dig deeper into what they're about, while theorizing where they could show up in the next game, if they do at all. As we know from Mass Effect Andromeda, the Kett cannot reproduce themselves and instead use a procedure that marries the concepts of brainwashing and genetic manipulation into a process called exaltation. This process basically transforms any organic species into one of the Kett themselves, as seen with the Angaran people being forced into servitude to conquer their own people by the Kett. But it all got me thinking into what are the Kett exactly? Seeing them just as a galaxy tyrannical alien race doesn't seem interesting enough, and the more I thought, the more messed up the Kett began to be when I really dug in and started seeing the disturbing parallels to real-world historical events. So my theory is that while the race is called the Kett, what if the name the Kett didn't necessarily mean the species itself, but instead the word Kett was instead looked at as a religion? We can see from the various Kett structures and names of the enemy types that the Kett is clearly based on a religious archetype. Each unit in-game is an exalted race forced into servitude, but the enemy's names and factions do not reflect what they once were. If they did, we would have the exalted Angaran called Angaran Kett in battle, but they're not. They instead have ranks like Chosen, Destined, Anointed, and ultimately Archon. It's very similar to a religious hierarchy with nuns, priests, bishops, and so forth. But looking at the Kett as a religion, more so than an actual race, it paints an even bleaker and more disturbing picture. Every race that is conquered by the Kett and forced into exaltation ultimately become Kett themselves, which, if we use a real-world parallel, would be like instead of calling various ethnic groups by their unique names, they would be simplified by their conquerors and called by their religion, like Christians, Orthodox, or Muslim, for example. If you were to put, say, a Bosnian-born Muslim or Nigerian-born Muslim in a room together, you wouldn't likely call them by their country, but instead simplify it by saying everyone in the room was Muslim. The same would be for Christianity or Orthodox-led cultures. So looking at it through this lens, the Kett is an almost radical religious ideology that found a way to push their identities both literally and figuratively upon conquered races. It's a devastatingly messed up idea to think that an alien race could subjugate and erase the identity of another group by force while controlling the weaker group through brainwashing or exaltation, in this case as it's called. It's disturbing when you look at the Kett through this lens because you start seeing even more parallels to real-world military campaigns and horrible ethnic cleansing moments in human history as real-world examples of what the Kett do to the species they exalt. Sort of like how the European explorers, upon reaching the Western world, started enslaving native people and deeming them beneath them. So the European races ultimately tried to ethnically cleanse the native population through breeding and mass murders. When I think of the Kett in this way, they're terrifying, to be honest, and a really messed up kind of enemy in a science fiction universe. I also think theoretically any way that the Kett might not even be the name of the species per se, but the actual name of their religion, instead with evidence that there's other vassal races within the Kett that serve the Kett cause. A vassal is, by definition, a holder of land by feudal tenure on conditions of homage and allegiance, or a person or country in a subordinate position to another. We know some of the names of the vassal species under Kett rule to be named as the Elin, the Surind, and the Thusali, none of which we have physical representations or further actual concrete info on, which makes me believe that if these races are considered Kett by their superiors, then maybe Kett is a religion more than a species, or it's just all simplified to be Kett and that's it, which is disturbing. To think how many species have been exalted in the past, completely cleansed of their ethnic diversity, culture, and languages because the Kett deem themselves their superiors, and now that the Kett know of the humans and other Milky Way galaxy species, who's to say the Kett haven't begun operations or conquests into that galaxy as well. We know the Kett are massive. We know their home planet of Sarheezan is somewhere apparently in the Andromeda galaxy. So how do these genocidal, ethnic cleansing, religious-led psychopaths fit into Mass Effect 4 then? I think the Kett, now seeing how dangerous and capable the Andromeda Initiative race is to be, having not only fought back against their empire, but killed one of their Archons, which is essentially a general in the Kett collective, to warrant the Kett hierarchy reason enough to want to seek out where these species like humanity came from. The Kett could easily be an invading force spilling into the Andromeda and Milky Way galaxies, looking to further their empire and exalt more species for their genetic data, and that's honestly kind of scary. I mean, we do see in Mass Effect Andromeda what happened to even imperfect exaltation on races like the Krogan and the monsters that were birthed from that procedure. Imagine stuff like the Rachni. Or what if the Kett discovered another living Thorian? What would happen if the Kett found the Leviathans? I don't think we've seen the end of the Kett by a long shot. They're far too interesting and brutal to be left and forgotten about in just one game. They could easily become one of the universe's most terrifying threats, and I look forward to it. Maybe even having a failed Kett companion could be really interesting too. Having this subjugated companion who survived exaltation somehow and retained themselves through the process and became part Kett, part whatever they were before. Oh, the possibilities in Mass Effect 4. Well guys, that's another theory video and somewhat history lesson too, I guess, on the Kett from Mass Effect Andromeda, and hopefully they appear in Mass Effect 4. What do you think of the Kett? Or a Kett companion in the future? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more Mass Effect and RPG content like this video. I'm ENDYMION, and expect another Mass Effect theory video soon, possibly on the Jardin. Thanks for watching.